What excites you most in the personal and commercial space industry today?
What excites me tremendously is that we're engaging in a debate now in our country over what's the right mix. No one that I know of believes that the government doesn't have a strong role to play, not only as a regulator of commercial space activity, but as a leading participant in space, as sort of opening the frontier, as being a pioneer and a pathfinder in going to an asteroid, going to the moon, going to Mars, the moons of Mars, and things like that. The question is how does the private sector follow them? How does the private sector work with them and help them go out to the far edges of the frontier as the shallow waters get filled up by the shopkeepers and the businessmen and the tradesmen that can make money and generate jobs and create economic opportunity from the more boring parts of space that are closer to the Earth, in low Earth orbit or high Earth orbit. That's the challenge. And we're having a very vibrant debate right now in Washington, D.C. There are a lot of people who think that things like human spaceflight, the launch of astronauts to the space station, really can only be entrusted to the government itself. And there's other people who say, not only can the private sector now do this, because the private sector has been launching billion-dollar satellites for decades now, but that's really the best option. Because we want to have not just one way of launching astronauts to space, we want to have several ways. And so if what we can do is leverage the private sector to develop new capsules and new vehicles using proven rockets and new rockets as they come along to launch astronauts to the space station, let's have the private sector do that, and then let's NASA go focus on actually exploring Mars, on actually visiting near-Earth objects or asteroids. Let's get NASA out onto the far frontier, and let's harness the economic engine of free enterprise to actually make stuff happen in low Earth orbit, in the shallow waters of space. And that means change. That means that NASA won't actually run all of the rockets that astronauts fly on anymore. And there are some people who don't like that idea. They don't like change. It's kind of funny. We're talking about space. We're talking about high technology. We're talking about the future. And they resist the idea of change. They want to keep doing it exactly the way we've always done it. I don't think America is about being static. I think America is about being change-oriented and change-friendly and dynamic and open and innovative. And so it's kind of funny to watch some people be very stodgy and say that, no, we can't do it any differently than we did Apollo. That isn't very American to me. And so we're having a very healthy debate, and I think over time, the forces of truth and justice and the American way will win, i.e. the ones that want to give commercial more of a role and want to give industry and entrepreneurs a chance to show that they can make a difference, to show that they can contribute something to our nation's future in space, just as entrepreneurs opened the West, okay? It wasn't the Department of Railroads that built all the railroads. It was the private sector with the help from the government. And it was a partnership, and that's what we need in space. The same thing.